Hey, there we are. Sorry, I had a camera glitch. Sorry about that. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. I just had a little bit of Mountain Dew before I came on and died Mountain Dew. Nearly choked myself to death. What a great start to the Friday. So if I'm choking to death, I apparently can't figure out how to drink. Welcome to Massive Iron Live, guys. It is Friday, June 27th. Hope you guys are doing well. I've had a good week of training. Hope you guys had a good week of training as well. We are here every Friday, we meaning I, every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Post up all your questions, any questions you have, diet, training, nutrition, off topic, whatever. We will answer the questions because we're here to lift. We're here to grow, get big, get strong. So before I get into things, usually on the July 4th weekend, which is coming up next weekend, I don't often promote the $6.99 yearly coaching special, but I've started to promote it. You can find it up here. Just go to the coaching tab. This is for newer or existing clients if you're interested. $6.99 for a year of coaching. That's a really good value. And I promoted it. I usually promote it only a couple times a year on Black Friday, just because it's Black Friday. And then around July 4th, middle of the year, my coaching service has been extremely busy, and I appreciate everybody that supports it. But I'm always looking for new people to work with. So if you are tired of mediocre results, I would love to work with you. Just go over and check out the coaching tab. If you can't afford the yearly special, then sign up for the 3-month commitment. Also, I have a very popular service called a custom workout service. Just go over here, search custom for only $39. You read that right? I will build you a custom workout. Now, I'm going to show you real quick what one of those looks like. And excuse me, I'm busy choking to death. I'm going to show you what the custom workout looks like really, really quickly. And then we will get on with business. We'll get over with the commercial. And then we will get on with business. So just let me find one. I am going to be coming out with a new workout, which is going to be based on ramping sets. And then rest pause optionally on the back down, back off. If I don't die first. Okay, hold on a second. I'm making a copy and I want to show you guys this. I'm just going to remove the person's name because it would not be good. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you guys what a custom workout looks like, and then we will get on to the fun. Again, a custom workout is only $39. Let me remove that. You can just go over to my main page, search custom. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just dying whoops. Forgot to remove his name. We'll pretend that didn't exist. So what I do is once somebody signs up for a custom workout, I take all their information, send them a question. I send them questions on where they train, how they train, et cetera, what their big goals are, what lifts they like, don't like. And then I put together a weight strategy, how to bulk cut. And then I put together a complete workout plan. So it is pretty detailed. It's not just a workout, a cookie cutter workout. It'll show you how to progress. It will show you how to bulk to maximize your current body composition. All right, let's get on with things. Massive Iron World. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Big Jonathan. Happy Friday, Stephen T. Massive. Would you say the hammer flat bench translates the same to regular bench in terms of no? I wouldn't say directly. I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I wouldn't. I would hesitant. I would be hesitant to say there's a one-to-one correlation, um, because honestly, the reason why I'm hesitant is because I've really never seen people at the top of their game on the hammer press. So I don't really know. And I'm not going to lie to you and say, yes, pushing to 300 on the hammer would be the same time and effort and stress and intensity as pushing to 300 on the bench. I couldn't say that for certain, no. So, just getting in the gym with the effort and pushing hard and trying to progress. I've never personally, I mean, I've done some pretty heavy machines and hammer presses in my time, but I've never actually sat down and thought about it, like how does this equate? How strong am I getting? So I'm not really sure. So I don't want to BS you. Rico, good afternoon, Rico. Thanks for tuning in. How would you schedule your massive crap program into 3 days a week? Let me see if I can find crap and pull it up for you really quickly, because I'd like for us all to be able to work off the same sheet of music. All right. Massive crap. There you go. I'm going to download that as a PDF and then upload it into this so we can all look at it together. If you want to get massive crap, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, or I cover massive crap on a video here for free. So anything that I sell on my store, like the PDF, is always available, here for free on a video somewhere. So let's see, it's loading. Hold on one second. All right, there we go. Massive crap-a-rooski. So you want to adjust it to 3 days a week. There are 4 distinct workouts: posterior A, upper A, posterior B, upper B. If you want to use that schedule, you simply rotate it between 3 days a week. So posterior A, say for example, on Monday, upper A on Wednesday, posterior B on Friday, and then you come back on Monday and you just do upper B. So you continue to cycle through the workouts. Does that make sense? I'm going to be updating all of these workouts. So I'm going to be adding different variations and extra content to each of them to flesh them out. But that's how you would do it. I hope that makes sense. Let me just remove that from the studio. Big Justin Jones, good morning. Like a body part split or upper lower. I hope that helps with the upper posterior. With the body part split, you can't really do 4 days of workouts if you're going to do a body part split, you pretty much need to be able to do 4 days a week. So if you wanted a 3-day a week massive crap, it would have to be something that I would have to actually create in the mad scientist lab, so to speak. Big Justin Jones. I found out that my spine specialist, who does manual therapy for my neck, can also easily fix. I'm good. I'm recoiling a little bit here, my friend. I'm recoiling a little bit here. There's red alerts going off in the background. There's sirens. There's like bombing sirens. Something dramatic is happening here. Can easily fix elbow tendonitis. It's an overuse injury from grip. That doesn't smell right to me, my friend. That is off the scale a little bit. I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, but elbow tendonitis in the lifting world comes from over grip. It is a deep stress or strain or condition that you experience from overworking your grip. Es- I'm a little bit nervous about this, man. I'm just speaking to you like we're sitting across from one another in a bar. This does not smell good at all. If someone was easily able to fix elbow tendonitis, they would probably be a multi millionaire. Really. So I'm just telling you, man to man, before you lay down your cashola, I would really be cautious about this. He could have some secret trick where he does a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, a little bit of heat, a little bit of whatever, and it could temporarily feel slightly better. But this is an overuse injury. It's going to require time. It's going to require care. It's going to require attention to detail. And you just can't go into a doctor and do a thing and then have it gone. So I'm sure it's more complicated than that. I'm sure he wants prolonged therapy or whatever. But just be careful, my friend, because there are a limited number of dollars in your wallet, and this smells like a dead fish. Big Jeff, good morning and happy Friday, Team Massive. Good morning, Big Jeffrey. Max, here to remind you how valuable Team Massive is. Thank you, Max. Now, Team Massive, you can join the Discord server. Check out the link in the description box. In any of my recent videos, we'd love to have you join Discord. If the linky winky doesn't work, you can go over. Wait, I'll find it. I swear I will. You can go over to Instagram, DM me, and I'll send you the linky winky. Okay? I'll send you the link. Where are we? I'm still choking on my Mountain Dew. Question, do you believe that diet alone is enough for a deficit? Yes. Absolutely, 1,000%. Now, everybody's going to be unique, and I'm not saying don't do cardio because that would be stupid. That would be dumb. That would be dense. But, you know, your baseline when you are adjusting to try to lose fat is to dial in your calories. And then if you want to add in a little bit of extra cardio, you can. But cardio is not going to be the primary calorie fat burner. The overall deficit will be. And then, you know, cardio, all things considered, if you burned like 3 sessions of 250 calories a week, that's an extra 100 calories down per day. Certainly of value. But when you start to get into the overdoing it zone, you run the risk of driving your hunger up, you know, too much. These are all generalizations. Everybody is different. So we do not want to generalize, but absolutely. It's not that I believe diet alone is enough for a deficit. It's a physiological reality. It is. And how you adjust things. Everybody is moving unless they're in some kind of weekend at Bernie's simulation. Everybody has a baseline number of calories they're burning. For most people, they're about averaged, you know, during the week. You don't have a lot of highs and lows. Maybe somebody with a very physical job could burn 1,000 more calories one day than another. We always have unique circumstances. But everybody is moving. They have an average calories burned per day, per week. And setting a deficit is going to depend on that and experience, what we found tracking our calories, what we know to be about maintenance level, and adjusting from there. We do not put the cart before the horse and try to just add a lot of cardio and keep our calories at maintenance. Calorie deficit is always enough. And activity above and beyond what you're getting in is always personal preference, sustainability, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? Sorry, the mic was down. Let me bring start up. How would you incorporate untracked days during maintenance phases? Um, you incorporate, I mean, you have to know at least what your calorie intake is relative to what you normally eat. So you want to remain as consistent as possible. You want to remain as consistent as possible. You should know the calorie intake of what you're eating to a reasonable degree. We don't want to, foster eating disorders or do anything crazy, but I know this has 10 calories. My diet Mountain Dew. I had a protein bar this morning, which I like to do on Friday. I know this has about 400 calories. I know roughly the calories of everything I'm eating. So I ballpark to make sure I'm pretty much, where I need to be. If you are really high or really low, or what I would consider ping ponging around a little bit, you need to kind of tighten your shot group. If you don't know, then you probably need to pay a little bit more attention. There's always going to be special circumstances, like you're doing an event, a special event, um, or whatever, where just go have fun. We're not worried about calories, or we're not worried about tracking. We're not worried about monitoring. That's fine. That's normal celebration days. But if you are serious about body recomposition, you can't have too many days where you're guessing at your calorie intake. Does that make sense? Again, we're not trying to foster an eating disorder, but we are monitoring to some degree because we have very specific goals. Okay, I'm bulking on 3,400 calories. I don't know how many I had today. I think maybe 23. Like, if you're in that kind of zone, occasionally, rarely, if life kicks you in the cojones, having a day like that is fine. But if it's frequent, you really have to look in the mirror and ask yourself what you're doing. Shelly, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Big Richard, happy Friday. Could you deepen the speed of the bar as a measure of proximity to failure? And what do you recommend? Deepen the speed of the bar. Not sure what you mean, Richard. But on bench, for example, if your bar speed is normal, 99% of the time you're going to get the next rep. If your bar speed is just a little bit slow at the end, there's a chance, 50% chance you might get the next rep. But when you start to notice a slowing of speed on presses, that's usually an indicator you're right at or right near failure. If it's a grinder to any degree, you're not going to get the next rep unless something weird really happens. There are some people with really good lockout strength that you will see this occasionally, but as a matter of practice, it's not likely. So on a row, the opposite of a press, a row, when you are pulling, you want to have what I call focus power. You don't want to be reckless, like, right? Just pulling with reckless abandon, pulling with reckless power. You want to have focus power, like an elbow strike, so to speak. And when you kind of notice you get like 2/3 of the way up and things are slowing and you're kind of doing the head bob to get into it. And then the next one's like, you can kind of notice on a row when you, like a pendley row or barbell row, when you start to get that head bobbing, that's kind of a reaction to get the bar up when speed generation has slowed. So when you notice on a row, especially a pendley row and a T-bar row, a barbell row, that speed generation has come pretty much to a halt, then you're pretty much at failure, form failure. You could do another rep and, use a little bit of English on a row. That wouldn't be the worst thing you could do. But, you can over time learn to gauge how close you are strength wise. Like a bench press, let's say you're doing 155 for a max rep attempt, or 185 or 205. The number is arbitrary and it doesn't matter. Let's say you're doing 200 on a bench. Boop, perfect speed. You're at 200. If you and then just a little bit at the end, perfect speed, maybe your max is at 205 because you could probably get the next rep, or maybe you could get 205. If you have 200 and you just kind of slow at the last, maybe your max is 204. If it's kind of grindy, but you get it, maybe your max is at 203. If it's incredibly grindy, but you get it, maybe your max is right at 200. So there is a spectrum, and there's no reasonable way to quantify it. But bar speed can certainly be indicative of progress. Today, you could do 200 on the bench and just, grind it and barely get it up. So your max is roughly 200 because you could barely get it up. And then next week, you put 200 and you're like, and that just slows right at the end and boom, you pop it out. Maybe you added 2, 3, 4 pounds to your bench press max, but you didn't add a rep. Does that make sense? So the speed of the bar can be indicative of progress even when you are not getting another rep. And I hope that makes sense. Big JR, look out now with five flexi biceps. Now with 5 flexi biceps. What technique do you recommend for performing the front squat? Whatever works for you. Doing the old thing here where you flip your hands back. I don't know a lot of guys that can do that. If you can do it and you like it, do it and enjoy it. Me, I've always had to do this. You can do the old arms cross, rest the bar, usually in the thumb notches, and then up here on the shoulders. And still then you're going to have a lot of stress. The bar always seems to want to do this. But you have to use a method that works for you. There's also, a manta ray or a stingray or whatever it is. I've owned one at one point. The thing you put on your thing, right? Have you seen the manta ray or the stingray for the squad? Let me pull it up for those of you that the stingray front squat stabilizer. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull that up for you guys. And let me just get the old image. It's available on Amazon. It's called the Stingray. It looks rather silly, but I assure you it's reasonable. Not everybody would like it. Here we go. So it's called the Stingray. If you search Stingray front squat, you basically put it on. There's a little notch for the bar, so on and so forth. And you can either do that. I've tried that. I owned one. It's $45. Not everybody's going to like it. It's not going to work well for everybody, but that is an option as well. And you bet. Thank you for your support, Richard. Big Greg Lewis. I apologize if this is an ignorant question. Why do people who do not compete in bodybuilding go through bulking and cutting phases so they can build muscle? You can't build muscle without bulking and cutting. You can't build much at all. There are certain phases, like a beginner, very novice, where you could build um, a little bit, but it's inherent in the muscle building process. There's bodybuilders are generally after maximum mass, so they take it more serious than the average lifters. But the straightforward answer is that's the way you build muscle. Calorie surplus is going to be conducive. Does that make sense? Can't do it without it. People cut to get the minor fat off that they put on during a bulking phase. All right, Massive Iron Live. We are 26 minutes in. I didn't choke on Mountain Dew in at least 30 minutes, so we'll have another drink. Big Austin, keep your questions coming. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. Huzzah! Thanks for tuning in, man. I'm a little bit sassy today. Sometimes I'm in a good mood. Just humor. Big Ernie P, what's going on? Andrew, let's go. Thanks for tuning in. The legendary, I don't know about that, but I am the Steve Shaw, that's for certain. Big Lee. Big Steve, please use your freedom-powered weather machines to end the UK heat wave. We got it going on here too, my friend. So try not to die and get your water and sodium in. And hopefully it won't last. Big Joe, what's going on, Big Joe? Good to have you. Tim, I'm a novice, 2 years, 50-year-old lifter. I'm at the end of a 15-pound cut. At the beginning of the cut, I tweaked my shoulder and took the opportunity to fix my flat bench technique. Move my hand position by 2 inches, okay? I'm just seeing if there's a follow-up. I don't see a follow-up, my friend, so let me know if I miss anything. Good job on the cut. It's not easy, but it sounds like you have it in the bag, so keep it rolling. Big Lee. I've switched to a Doug Miller style bro split after watching your video on natural bro training, and I've fallen in love with lifting again. Can you hear that? Can you hear that magical pop song, that love song? Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. Loving you. That's my humor for the day. Thank you for tolerating it. We'll be here every week. But honestly, man, I'm glad to hear it. I get a lot of people that just become so worried about splits and frequencies and things. And it's get after it, man. I mean, get after it. Find what you love and crush the living crap out of it. That's the magic way. None of this influencer bullshit. Big Alexander is on Super Living today at Tank Top. I'm not seeing it. Don't know what you mean, my friend. For those of you, we'll look really quick. So hold on. I'm not going to waste a lot of your time because I have a lot of apparel on my website. And I'm not a t-shirt salesman. I mark them up by like $5 because I get a credit card fee. And when it costs me money to run these through my store website. So if you go over to my site, let's just look real quick and you search apparel and you search all, I have a lot of lifting stuff. The most popular is a Massive Iron t-shirt. I have this snazzy dazzy Crom shirt, which I like, that I created. All these are designs that I created. This is the old school muscle and brawn shirt, the old school website that I used to own. This is the Massive VIP shirt. You can see it's kind of got that, little thing in there. I put that together for fun. Massive 316. We'll go through it a little bit. Why not? What else do we want to do on Friday? The Massive Iron, get big, get strong, get fit. And you have different colors. It's not all black in here. So if you like to wear something other than black because, You don't need black to be slimming. If you know, you know on this one, right? If you know on this one, right? Just fun stuff. Why do I do this? Because sometimes you need a creative break. The high voltage massive iron shirt, pretty snazzy, huh? I got some fun ones, like the turkesterone shirt, turkesterone gains in multiple colors for your fashion enjoyment. And what else we got? Jeffrey Verity Schofield made his last video. They were talking about progressive overload, and somebody actually mentioned regressive underload, and I mentioned, hey, I have a shirt called regressive underload. Regress the load, and you got different colors. It looks pretty snazzy in that color. We'll look at a few more because we can. This one's a shout out to Coach Greg. Buy my friggin' cookbook. Why not? You know, what else do you have to wear into the gym? Obviously, you have your Breaking Massive shirt and some flag action. This one's a throwback to MTV. The massive YT, massive YouTube. Pretty tricky, right? Huh? Pretty sneaky. This is the Budweiser Massive Iron, the beer shirt. And somebody asked me to make this once, and I did. And somebody actually bought it. I'm not trying to be a dork, but yeah. Let's look at a couple more real quick, and then we'll move on. What else do we have to do? Let's see. Shut up and squat, death lift, stop whining, embrace the suck, some general stuff. The old massive iron coffee mug. We got a bunch. So hold on. We'll look through it real quick. There's big, juicy, massive. Look weak, train week, look week. And let's see, we got some other stuff. There's some funnier ones at the background. Your phone covers. This one's one of my favorite. It's a little bit cutesy, but you can wear this when you're benching. It says don't touch the bar, but it's upside down. So the person spotting you, I can read it. Let's see, Megaroids, that's for Josh. And here we go. I run so I can drink beer. Just fun shirts, not taking ourselves seriously. I got a fitness influencer shirt that says making up stupid exercises since 2010. And what do we got here? Exercise, extra fries. Just silliness. Hold on, we got the Barbell Club line, which is pretty fun. The Massive Iron Barbell Club shirts. Those are kind of a unique line in their own. We got different designs on them, like the PR or ER from the Barbell Club and that sort of thing. This is every Halloween I put together one for the the Halloween season. This was 2022 massive dead weight. And we got some bulldozer training, massive iron bulldozer training. I like that one. That one's pretty cool. And this is one I own. Just a massive maximum, just a fun little random shirt. We're almost done. You got the patriotic shirt, which is one of the, the Top Gun, massive Top Gun shirt. That was a very popular shirt. The gym bag, I got to tell you, this gym bag is huge and it's durable and it's not a piece of crap and it'll last you a long time. I had mine stolen out of my car. I guess that says something. And let's see, let's just do a couple more. Why not? The Massive Iron Snickers, that's a little bit boring. Some of this stuff is just maybe playing around. What is this one? I identify as a family of 4. A little bit of humor for you. And I put this one together during the era where everybody was making the power builder shirts or the power building videos, and just power builder, like the builder serving up power. Oh, you can't be a power builder. Oh, okay, but I am. That sort of thing. The lifeguard shirt, One that you all probably need. I lift because I'm ugly. We all need that one, right? And let's see. The motorcycle ones are really, really popular. I sent some to James Tinybus, actually, the Born to Lift, motorcycle shirt. And we have a secondary one. We have these in tanks as well. This one's pretty cool. Born to Lift, Born to Grow. I like that shirt a lot. And you got the beer mug, just all kinds of stuff, that I put together over the years. I don't push it, I don't push these a lot because I don't sell a lot. I don't make a lot of money. I don't, it's not my goal to be a t-shirt company, but if you need just fun lifts, just say massive. This is one of my favorite ones as well. I just took that stupid image and cropped some ugly dumbbells in there. Why not? I mean, what else are we gonna do? Be nude, So, like I said, I marked these up like $5 to just cover the cost of the nonsense. What's this one? It's not the method, but the madness. And this is one of my favorite ones. This is the Massive Iron. I love this one. The Massive Iron Underthinking Team, Toxic Training, right? Oh, we're just underthinkers. We're dumb. We're stupid. It comes in tank top as well. This guy doesn't even lift, but you get the picture. And what we got here? We got the Massive Iron Hulk Smash kind of look. A lot of fun stuff. She-Bulk. This one cracks me up. I like this one a lot. 75% natty. I can't believe I'm not sold more of those. I'm not 75% natty. It's just a little tongue-in-cheek. This is a patriotic shirt I put together last year for anybody for the 4th. And little fun one here, Massive Ramen. And that's about it. Somebody wanted some hats. We got some hats. We got some beach towels. We got all the stuff. So I just bored you to death. Yes, you're live. Thank you, sir. You've been missed. Thank you. Also, the top science-based lifting influencers are psyops sent by aliens to weaken us. You are on top of it. This is the only logical explanation. That and they like our money. Big Jason. Happy Friday, big man. Walking 3 dogs is such an underrated lat workout, especially 3 Jack Russells. Yeah, I imagine. I got 5 wieners, and just taking care of those dogs is a challenge. Big Lee. When bulking, how many calories should I be above maintenance at a minimum? There's no formula. It's not like 300, 500, 200, 250, whatever. What I recommend is going about to where you think maintenance level is for 5 days, weighing it every morning, kind of seeing what the trend does on the graph. If it's not moving at 200, 250 calories, right? So very micro adjustment. Sorry, excuse me. So we want to move up a little bit. There's no magic number above maintenance. I've had guys that can eat 5,000 calories and really struggle to gain weight. So it really comes down to not an X amount of calories above maintenance level, but just zeroing in. I'm not gaining weight here. Let me add 250 calories and then kind of zeroing in from there. Brenda, happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. What's up, folks? Happy Friday, Brenda. Everybody thanking Brenda. At least Andrew is. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Good to have you. Love this community. Thank you. I get a lot of these Q&As. Can't always make it. I appreciate your support. I really do. Anybody that can tolerate my occasional attempt at humor, I thank you very much. Are energy drinks really that bad for you? I probably drink a lot of them, but I don't really notice a change. We like to demonize everything, right? I mean, there's always good, better, and best. So we have to take a big picture approach to our health. We can't just say like one thing is bad or the other thing is bad. There are things that you really want to minimize. like sugar and flour intake and junk food and fast food. But, you know, if you're eating really healthy and taking care of yourself, having a couple of Mountain Dews isn't going to kill you. Having a couple energy drinks isn't going to kill you. You know, if you start to feel like you're overdoing it, then you probably should pull back a little bit. Does that make sense? Like, I'm always self-monitoring. It's really easy to get into work on a Thursday and do bam and hit the caffeine and another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. And then you're like, what am I doing? When you get to kind of that, you know, you're self-monitoring and you're asking yourself, what am I doing? Then you kind of probably want to consider pulling back a little bit. Big Bad Lee, my boss, was asking me about the Liver King and looking at it. Fitness is Wild, Mike Van Wyck versus Jeff Nippard, Israel versus Greg versus the world. Is all this anger for fitness really necessary? It sure does drive views, right? It sure does drive views. You know, I hate to oversimplify, because oversimplification is usually devalues a conversation, right? He's just an idiot. Well, he's partially an idiot. Maybe he's just an idiot at work, right? You know, we kind of oversimplify and devalue, you know, the conversation a little bit. But there are two types of content. There is educational and there is informational. And sometimes you have a combination, infotainment. I watch the Y-Files on YouTube, love the channel. But some of it's, you know, infotainment. But it's just, you know, we all need a little bit of entertainment. I mean, I don't want to demonize entertainment. I don't like all the drama, though. I don't really care for that personally. And sometimes you just want to talk about a news story or talk about a subject, and people be like, why are you doing drama? Well, drama for me is something people put out to kind of stir the pot and get the views. I've been doing this a long, long time. If I make a video about some exercise Dr. Mike does, it's usually because I'm going to get a lot of questions about it, and I want to address how probably overthinking, a little bit chaotic, random it is. But back to my statement, there is infotainment, entertainment, and education. I'm not being holier than thou and saying I try to focus on education. I've occasionally done infotainment or entertainment or whatever. It's just been plain silly. It's hard. I've done like 4,000 videos. It's, you know, you just get on here and sometimes you just are you that day, believe it or not. Everybody expects you to be ultra structured. Oh my God, he made a funny video or a stupid or off topic video. I try not to do that too much, but I don't know. I think in life, everybody needs a good feud, right? You need a villain and a hero. It's part of every classic story, you know, the hero villain setup. I think it is human nature to like the hero and the villain and to try to figure out who is the hero and who is the villain. And what happened to the hero? Has he fallen? Is he lying? Is he on meth? Liver King. All right. What do you think of a calisthenics circuit? Sprints, kettlebells. It's fine. It's conditioning work. There's nothing wrong with doing conditioning work. Just understand it's not hypertrophy work. It's not muscle building work. Sarah Merriman says we watch the Y-Files too. I absolutely love that channel, the Y-Files. One of the best channels on YouTube. If you don't subscribe, go subscribe. The guy will go over a bunch of information and then present the real story. And it's educational, but it's just fun to watch. What do you think? You know, this is conditioning work. It's not muscle building work. We need to make sure we understand the difference, right? Conditioning work, you know, muscle building work is classic muscle building work. If you want to add in kettlebells and sprints and calisthenics and swinging clubs and hanging from dip bars and all kinds of stuff, go right ahead. All good things. Just don't confuse it for muscle building work. You still need bread and butter, meat and potatoes, muscle building work. Ben, one of my favorite people on planet Earth. Big, hairy, ugly dude. I'm squatting for the first time since, wow, I can't believe it's been that long. It just seems like it was yesterday. Got a long way to go. No questions, but encourage me, please. Just go slow, just go steady. Don't rush into the pool. When I get back into squatting after a long period of time off, I am doing the minimum amount of weight for like 2 sets of 5, and I progress very, very slowly. The one thing I can encourage you with is that once you've built strength, it always comes back quicker. Not only do you have the psychological advantage, the mental advantage, you've been there, you can get there, what it feels like, but you also have the muscular strength and history and muscle memory, and physically you can build back into it a lot easier the second time around, a lot easier. The key in this game is being safe. Big Lee. When doing the upright row, how much torso leaning forward is too much? Well, I try to stay as upright as possible. The deeper into the set, don't worry about that as much, right? Sometimes leaning forward provides you with a better leverage position, because as the bar gets up here in front of you, you're going to have to lean back to balance it. It's just physics, right? If you lean forward and try to stay forward, you'll end up putting more focus on trying to keep the torso forward rather than trying to have a good feel. Does that make sense? So it's very arbitrary. Leaning forward is not the enemy. Leaning back during the execution of the rep is not the enemy. As long as you're not swinging to get it up, then you're starting to do a power clean, right? So it's okay to lean forward slightly to improve your starting leverage. And then as you pull up, to lean back a little bit to encourage good feel, take some stress off your lower back. Does that make sense? So worry about feel and execution and proper bar speed, that sort of thing. But a little bit of forward movement and a little bit of rearward movement isn't bad. When I do laterals, I lean forward a little bit like this, and then I drive up, okay? I lean forward a little bit. It allows me to just start with a little bit better leverage position. It's not compromising the lift. I don't have to sit there and flap like a bird with my torso perfectly at 90 degrees to the earth. These sorts of arbitrary things in the lifting industry are arbitrary. They're just made up stuff. We have to have perfect math and perfect angles and perfect angles of entry and execution, and the body can't move at all. We have to be a robot, stiff robot. Movement is not like that. Movement is fluid. Movement is leverage. Setting yourself up for better leverages or completions of reps are not cheating. Cheating is cheating. Does that make sense? Duca. Big, hairy, ugly dude. Glad I caught you live. Thank you. I appreciate you joining in. Big Johnny Miles. Good old-fashioned EC. Man, it's funny you mention that, because that used to be the thing. That used to be the thing back in the day. Everybody was talking about. Everybody's talking about ECA. Now, for those of you that don't know what it is, you're going to have to go over to the Chat GPT. Maybe let's do that together. We'll have a field trip. We're going to take a field trip to the Chat GPT, the land. It's Friday. We're going to have a Friday field trip. And we're going to, I forget, like, it seems like forever, when the heyday was. But let's just share screen. We're going to take a field trip to ECA land. I'm not encouraging anybody to do this. I'm just saying, and Johnny knows, this used to be the thing for fat burning. Nobody talks about it anymore. I never hear it. Never get questions on it. This is the first question in probably a long time. ECA stack used to be the bomb in bodybuilding circles. When was it prominent? When did it die down as far as popularity? And what was it? I don't want you guys doing this. I spelled the word wrong. Don't hate. Ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin was a hugely popular purported fat burning and performance enhancing combination, especially in bodybuilding circles from the early 90s through the early 2000s. Ephedrine, a stimulant derived from the ephedra plant, increases metabolism, suppresses appetite, blah, blah, blah. Caffeine, we all know about caffeine, and then supposedly prolongs the thermogenic effect by inhibiting prostaglandins. Did I say that right? Prostaglandins. So its role was much less critical and often debated. So this would be a typical stack: ephedrine, HCl, 20 to 25 milligrams, caffeine, and aspirin. Take 2 to 3 times a day, blah, blah, blah. Widely used in bodybuilding, figure, and fitness for a long, long time, and often sold in fat burners. 2004, the FDA banned ephedrine alkaloids in dietary supplements, Public perception shifted as safety concerns mounted, despite many bodybuilders defending its effectiveness, replaced by weaker or legal ingredients, So that's your history lesson. It remains kind of an underground legend in the supplement world. I'm not sharing an opinion about it. We're just educating as to what it was. I have no experience with it. The ephedrine alkaloids were banned. I'm not touching. If I need to burn fat, I just need to be in a calorie deficit. Been a follower for 6 years. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Please tell me that arm size up to a point is genetic. Yeah, it is. I mean, you can't have 22-inch arms. There's always going to be genetic limits. What you want to do, okay, there's a little bumpy bumper. There's a little bump right here on your wrist called the styloid process. So you want to measure your wrist above it towards your hand, right above it in that little notcherooski. So you're going to measure that. Add 10 to 11 inches onto there, and that's your arm potential at your current body fat percentage. Not a be-all, end-all, but that's super reasonable. You take that styloid process, that bumperooski, you measure right above it. Don't give it the death cinch. And then you add 10 to 11 inches on there, and that's your generic ballpark for your, arm size at that body fat percentage. So if you're at 16 or 12 or 28, doesn't matter. You add that on, and that's your potential relative to your current body fat percentage. Now, if you are a bigger individual, say above 35% body fat or 30% body fat, that could be upwards of 12 inches above. Okay? Just for reference. Big Nolan, client of mine, what is the massive lifting story of the week? I had one in my brain, and I was thinking of you, Nolan, this week. I was thinking of you. I was walking up the steps from my office, and a lifting story came to my brain. And I'm like, oh, this would be a good lifting story for this week. And I absolutely forgot it. So let me think. What haven't I talked about? I've talked about supplement scammers. I've talked about YouTubers. Is there anything really positive that I could talk about? Let's see. I think my lifting story for this week has to do with community. Community is a big part of what I've always done in lifting. I don't own the website muscleandbrawn.com anymore. I sold it. I couldn't. The forum was always under attack. It was an old V Bulletin forum for anybody that knows what that is. It was always under attack. I didn't have time to manage it. I was working full time. But that community was a big, big part of my life. I have a community now on Discord. Community has always been important to me. I think waking up every day and connecting with like-minded individuals, sharing things, your struggles, your thoughts in a safe environment. We don't do trolling or hate or religion or politics. We just do lifting. And there have been so many people that I've met, trained, and still am friends with from the communities. My friends tend to be from the communities, the online communities, rather than just people that I met in person via fitness. A lot of people over the years that, I still follow. And I think I would not be here where I am without community. I used to have the Muscle and Brawn Forum. I used to be a part of the Muscle and Strength Forum when I ran their content. Just being a part, and now I have the Massive Iron community. Just being a part of communities. Communities are almost like anti-modern world. In the modern world, people like to post things and then run away. And I'm not making fun of it. But a community is more, hey, how you doing? How are the kids? How's the lifting? How's your elbow? It's more personal. And there's a lot of value in that. I think especially when sustaining yourself through hard times. There's a lot of people in the Massive Iron community that go through different things. So just being able to get support and be around people with the same goals that are sometimes struggling is very, very important. Big Aaron, speaking of community. Morning, Steve. How beat up should I feel 2 weeks out from a strongman? Hard to say. I felt pretty beat up going into my last powerlifting meet. You need to work on right now. You aren't going to get more fit. You're not going to get more strong, but you need to rescind that fatigue. Deload work, lower the volume, lower the weight maybe a little bit. Allow yourself to heal as best you can. You do not, it's critical right now. You're not going to build any more strength, but it's critical that you lick your wounds, get in your food. Don't try to go crazy in training right now. You need to deload or reduce the number of assistance exercises. Peaking for my clients when they're headed into something is the closer they get to event day, we pull back on effort, or we pull back on volume, intensity. They might do a really intense week 2 weeks out, but after that, you kind of have to reduce the fatigue. So I don't know your training specifically, Aaron, but right now you need to get yourself healthy. You need to eat a lot. You need to reduce your training intensity a little bit and allow your fitness or strength to shine at that strongman competition. What do you think about training momentum? In terms of programming, pretty popular term in powerlifting. Rondell Hunt and Max Terscher are advocates of it. Well, it's all context. I mean, if you're in a season of, I don't know what they teach, so I can't comment specifically on what they are teaching. So I don't want to be an idiot and pretend I know what they're teaching. But training momentum is like this. If you are crushing things and you're moving forward and you're making good progress on your strength and your muscle, don't derail that. Let it run like a wild horse. Let it go. Let it go. Like if you're bulking, let's say you're bodybuilding and you got up to 192 and you feel just a hair fluffy, right? Just a hair fluffy. And you start to say to yourself, Mr. Fluffykins, I see you in the mirror. But then your brain's like, I'm making amazing progress right now. Should I bulk? Should I cut? I'm looking a little fluffy. If you continue the bulk and only gain like 2.2 pounds a month or a kilo, what's the worst thing that you're going to do? Sustaining that bulk for 3 more months because you are having good training momentum. You're going to add another couple pounds of fat. It's not really going to make a difference, but that strength and muscle, that's something we're after. That's what we want. So it's really individual. Morning, Steve. We already got that one. Let's say someone wants your advice. You're too busy to mentor them. I'm never too busy to help. I answer every question. But you're saying theoretically. But you do what you can. They want more and are willing to pay for your time, but you're not a coach. You always know what you don't know. Make sure you always know what you don't know. Just because somebody wants your advice doesn't make you an expert on everything. I'm not saying you, I'm saying anybody. People come to this channel all the time with questions on things that I don't have any idea about, and I'm not going to blow smoke up their backside. Know what you don't know and teach what you know, but always put a caveat. This is not black and white. This is a good way, but it's not the only way. It really depends on the situation. But if somebody is respecting you enough to seek out advice, only give them reasonable advice and don't go in too deep and don't start making it up. What do you think about switching from powerlifting to power building once you get strong? Usually power building is the base to get strong. So power building is usually just powerlifting in the off season. So it's a wonderful tool. I never did powerlifting training. I always did my conventional muscle building, power building. It has nothing to do with aesthetics. There are a lot of powerlifters I've run into with a ton of mass. But base building, whatever world you're in, you need to do reasonable base building, and powerlifting is always a good option. There's no switching to aesthetics. I mean, that's like, I want to get lean. The only difference between bodybuilding and power building and aesthetics is that you want to get really lean and look good. That has nothing to do with training. Does that make sense? I'm going to say this politely, Max, but don't tell anybody in my office when and where to post. Don't tell anybody in my live when and where to post. Don't ever do that. I'm saying that respectfully. This is my live. Everybody comes here. They are my people. Okay? You do not tell my people when to post. I'm sorry if I'm sounding stern. That's not happening here. Okay? These people come here on their own time and under their own circumstances. Okay? And they are posting when they can post. So we welcome all, just like I welcome all. He doesn't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. And I'm not being hard on you, but just take it as a lesson learned. All right. Gains are being made thanks to your advice. I'm trucking. Great. I'm really glad to hear that. And Max, I know Max because Max is on Team Massive and I care about him greatly. And I'm not trying to be a butthole, but this is my life. This is my chance every week to connect with people. And when they come here, they're on their own time and their own schedules. And just having them come to me for advice is such an honor. It's something I take seriously. And we can't, no one here is ever going to monitor this information or answer questions for me or tell people when to post. Just bottom line. Mr. Cuddles, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I have severe shoulder pain when benching deep. No, I don't touch my chest. I do 2 inches off. I found as I age, it treats my shoulders better. I take a lot of heat over that when I post my bench. online like, oh, you're cheating or whatever. I benched 392 in competition. I know how to bring it to my chest. I'm not an idiot, and you are not as well. There is something called the Spoto press. Eric Spoto is one of the biggest benchers in the world. He didn't bring it down to his chest. Touching your chest is arbitrary. As long as you're getting good value and crushing progressive overload, you are good to go. So don't worry about it at all. And if you have more info, more questions on it, please let me know. And Sarah, yep, Y-Files, absolutely. He was on Rogan, I believe, recently. Maybe worthwhile to get to the bottom of the shoulder issue. Okay. Steve, I did 135, then 175. Nice. You're scaring me a little bit, Ben, because you went up to 225 that first time. The connective tissue is going to decondition a lot more than the muscle. So I don't want you to get hurt. Please, 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 please go slow. I legitimately, when I get back into squatting, I start at 135. I had an elbow issue. I've had an elbow issue for 6 months, just randomly popped up. I don't know why. I wasn't doing anything other than extensions. It bothered me for 6 months, so I took a complete month off training just to let things heal. It's feeling better, so I started up with squats again. I did 135 the first week. I did 155 the second week and 185 the third week. And then this week I'll be doing 205. I'm creeping back up. Just be careful, careful, careful. Don't hesitate to go slow. There's a lot of potential negatives in rushing the process. Let's see. For some reason, I feel the Hatfield squats a lot in the glutes compared to other variations. Could be. I mean, the demands of every exercise are different. One thing I always teach is just because you can feel something in the glutes doesn't mean it's not working the quads or whatever. Usually that means it's probably the weaker muscle group in the movement, or it is stressing it a lot more. Does that make sense? So don't think that because you're feeling the Hatfield squats in your glutes that you're not also feeling them in your quads. For 40 years, I feel squats in my hamstrings and adductors. I do not really get a lot of quad soreness unless I do something ridiculous. But my quads continue to grow like weeds from squats. Typically, possibly, potentially, when you feel something, it could be that it's just a weakness. Does that make sense? That's okay. All right. 1 second. Sorry, I was just skipping through and reading things. How to warm up without it taking too long. I'd like to know what you're doing. So if you can be a little bit more specific, what are you doing during your warm up? So are you doing foam rolling and stretching and prehab and rehab, or are you just doing normal warm-up sets? Normal warm-up sets are a requirement. That's the only requirement, to warm up your central nervous system, to warm up, get the muscles ready and connected with that lift. If you're going in and doing 10 minutes of treadmill work and stretching and foam rolling and all that stuff, you don't need to do any of that. I don't know what you're doing. So just maybe if you have more information, if it's just that, let me know. Tim, sorry I disconnected. No worries. I'm a 50-year-old novice. I had tweaked my shoulder, so took the cut. I'm now down 25. Nice work. On my max set of 6 reps on the bench from before the cut. Is this a result of the narrower grip? No. Whenever you presses, this is something I've taught a lot, and this is a reality. Presses generally take a much bigger hit than any other lift from a calorie deficit. It's absolutely normal and not unusual for your overhead and your bench press to take a dip during a cut. Nothing wrong with it. Normal, generally nothing you can do about it. Just get the cut over with and then get back to safe building. Usually you'll get that strength back over time pretty quickly. When doing weightlifting and cardio on the same day, how long do you wait until you do your cardio after weight? You can do it immediately. If it's just short duration, you don't really need to do anything crazy. If it is longer duration, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes before you finish your weight training, you can have a little bit of sodium, some electrolytes, maybe some minor carbs, half a banana, a little bit of carbs, simple carbs. If you're doing longer duration, it depends on your goals and the protocol. Let me know if you have any more questions on that. I'm late 20s, 5'10", 158, currently benching 155 by 7. What's a realistic goal for me in a year? If you nail your bulks, because we need to get that body weight up a little bit to facilitate mass, I want to see you in a year. Probably you are in the position to do a long extended lean bulk of like 20 pounds over 8 to 9 months. I would like to see you do that. And I think you could potentially get your bench pretty close to 200 by 7, which is a pretty big jump, if not more. But it's going to depend on how meticulous you are with your building stages. All right, guys, we have about 5 questions left. Last call. Get your questions in now. Mark, hey, big handsome chap. Finally, somebody understands. 5 weeks into the program, you have me and the missus. Loving it. Glad to hear it. The scales are also going up and the mirror never lies. Thank you. And anything, I appreciate the opportunity to help. I did a custom workout. Anything you don't like, just let me know. We can adjust it. Steel Rat goes to gym. Good to see you, my friend. I've been peeking in. You've been popping up on Instagram lately. How's it going? To what degree do you think we can bias upper back versus lats on rows? I don't ever try to change the focus or feel on a lift, on a compound lift. You do what you need to do on a lift to focus on progressive overload. When I do my big rows when I post my big row sets on social media, people assume I can't feel my back at all and that there's no lat involvement. The opposite is actually true. When I'm doing a dumbbell row and I'm focusing on driving my elbows and shoulders back, I can feel it right now. I can feel my lat really locking in. I feel my lat more than anything. There's a lot of belief in the lifting world that rows hit the mid back, rhomboids, and that they don't hit the lats at all. It's a compound movement. We don't bias a compound movement. We don't try to bias a bench press to feel chest. We don't try to bias a row to feel this or that. We let the row do what the row is going to do. That's the cake. And then with the icing, if we feel we need more lat focus, more front delt, more chest focus, then we add in the icing on the cake and then the sprinkles on the cake. Does that make sense? Don't take a compound movement and try to turn it into more of an isolation, pushing it in that direction. That's one of the cancers of bodybuilding. Let a compound exercise do what a compound exercise does best. Big Bird of Blueness. Back to my question about warming up. I do 50% for 7 and 70 for 7, 80, 90 for 3. In between those warm-ups, I do dynamic stretching like shoulder dislocations and hip adductors. I would drop that stuff unless you really feel you need it. Your warm-up protocol sounds fine. You can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of the warm-up sets or else you're going to increase risk of injury. So that's perfectly on track. And you got it, Mark. I understand. Thank you, Calvin. I appreciate it. And Big Johnny Maz, I like your advice. Thanks. That is it, guys. I'll hang around for another second, see if we have any more questions. Please head over to my website. check out, go hit the search, hit the custom workout. I'd love to build you a custom workout. Please follow me on Instagram. I'd love to have you follow me. I'd love to connect with you. Please join my Discord community. We'd love to have you aboard. If you can't find it, DM me there. And coaching is what I do for a living. I'm not a check-in once a week guy. I'm here with you every single day, 5 days a week. I give you the weekends off, but then we come back on Monday and we go hard. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing weekend. Crush some PRs and let's get some shit done.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
Watch my video I just did on warming up yesterday.